Okie dokie. So, let's see. First thing we're going to do is try to figure out where the enemy is at. That is always the first objective. One of the things I've figured out right off the bat is that people spawn near the objectives now. So the objectives are no longer unspawnable. So the best thing to do now is straight up scan the area as much as you can. So when you're looking for players, literally go town to town. Do not skip towns unless you know exactly where they're at. Pay close attention to the minions and their movements. If they're moving and running, that means someone's in that area. So you can use that as like clues of whether or not someone's in that area. So right now we're going to be playing as Puppeteer, and you know, we'll kind of try to focus on finding them. I always go for treasure chests because they give you an enormous amount of points. That gets you leveled up quickly.
The living have claimed a piece of the map.
So we're going to keep trying to find these guys. It's a risk to go down here. And the major reason why it's a major risk is because if they're up in the northern half, it's going to be that much harder to find them then. So they are in the northern half somewhere. So I've cleared out this whole area, so I'm going to try to work my way through the corner of the map and get across, and we'll just keep scanning for them. But like I said, if you see chests, immediately trap them in early games, so that way you can get an enormous amount of points very quickly right off the bat. It's the best way to level up. Early possession in this game has been significantly nerfed, so you don't want to start possessing right away unless you're confident that you can take someone down. That's where the Puppeteer is a little unique in this element. If you use power possession, it does not use up your infernal gauge, which makes it that less of a problem for him to do early possession. Puppeteer is probably the only boss so far, or the only demon that can actually do early game possession early on, but it is limited due to the fact that you have to wait for the cooldown to cool down. The cooldown to cool down. Oh, listen to me talk. Okay, so we're gonna go from this town. We're gonna go to Vengeance real quick. I seriously doubt they're at the very corner of the map. So more likely than not, they're probably by Castle Kandar. Looking back at it in hindsight, I probably should have started there right off the bat. Castle Kandar has a really high spawn probability from what I've noticed. So more often than not, I think it's usually the best option to go there and clear that area out first, and then move your way around. So I kind of did this backwards. But, you know, it's still early on in the game. We still need to find them. The chest, good opportunity to level up. Already almost there. Let's see here. Anything at all. Anything. There they are. They're in Castle Kandar. Okay. That's great, because they're separated. This is kind of what I want. You want to single out players as much as possible. I usually go for the healers or anyone that's squishy. And since that person's on the second floor, I'm going to try to isolate them as early as I can. They are going to get objectives done. That's okay. I'm not too worried about them getting the objectives done. What I need is to slay some people. Now, first thing I need to do is figure out how to get into the building. And not only that, but because it's such a complicated building structure to get up, if I down her in there, it's going to make it that much more difficult for them to get to her, which makes it more easy to trap. Now, one of the things that I've noticed about this area is that it tends to be glitchy. So if you leave a minion control, you might glitch to the top of the roof. So you got to be a little mindful of that. So let's see if I can find any minions in this area. It looks like I'm not getting very lucky here with the minion spawn, so I'm probably going to need to call in a basic unit in order to isolate this player. Now, I want to try to get ahead of them, so that way I can kind of force them backwards into my traps. See, this person's completely lost. This makes them ideal targets. Moving. Now that I got them isolated, and this is the perfect character to isolate. This is their healer. And now she's trapped. She's gonna try to run back towards the traps where I want her to go. Oh no, she got free.
Now hold the complete map to the location.
That's fine. It's still early game. Even though they got 3 of the objective maps, I can still pull this off.
Try hard.
Now the big thing that you gotta recognize in this new build of the game is the demon gets significantly stronger in late game. Early game, you are much weaker. So if you can isolate someone, ideal. Obviously, these are randos, so your chances of isolating someone probably not that high. The best thing to do at that point is harass with traps as much as possible, and only use the minions, minion possession if you absolutely are sure that you can put a lot of pressure in them. Do some minion spawning here. She is definitely going to die by the time that he gets to her. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and hit him with this. And then I'm going to take this over. Now, typically, I would not be fighting a warrior class close up like this. But because he's isolated and alone, I can pull this off.
Still living.
And that's what I want. I wanted to push him into that trap. Now he's forced to use his resources. Do a little bit of damage that way too. Keep the pressure going. That's fine. Possession increase. Do another basic unit increase. And I should be able to have power possession here real soon. That's fine. If I can isolate him, that's ideal. They are getting the other objective. Yes, they are. I can make this still work no matter what, though. Here's the problem with their strategy. Because there's only 2 of them on the objective, it's going to take them too long to actually get the objective completed. Not going to let him drink, and I'm also getting strong with each down. And he's going to die. So it's fine that they get rezzed, but ultimately, they just made me much stronger in the process. And it's going to take them so much longer to get that objective done. So downing people, eliminating them is always the higher priority to go for, because you're going to get a bigger benefit out of it than hunting down the objectives. At times, sometimes you have to go for the objective, but more often than not, this is usually the better solution. Now, if I can pull off the card trick, I'm not as good with the card trick. You usually want to go for the card trick if you can. I'm gonna save my boss for the next opportunity. But I am gonna keep applying pressure here with the elite. Fine, they're gonna burn their resources. I'm gonna take this vehicle away from them. Because they're gonna complete this objective whether I like it or not. So let's get that vehicle away from them. I want to slow them down, and I want to pre-minion trap them a little bit here. Slow them down. Now the other guys should be spawned up. Now I don't see them immediately on the map, but I know that these guys are at Action City. I'm not too worried about the other guys being respawned, and the major component of the reason why is because actually I'm better off just staying here because I'm right next to the objective. They're all right next to each other? Yeah. Actually, no, I can go after them now. I'm not going to be too worried about them going for the objective right now that I know where I'm spawned conveniently right next to them. And I'm not worried about the other guys being resurrected. And the major component of the reason why is because since they went down, the next time I down them, they bleed out so much faster. Every time you get resurrected, your bleed out timer is significantly decreased. These two are isolated now too, and I can use my boss on them. This is the prime opportunity to boss attack rush them.
Have I been summoned?
Got them both? Good. And I want to go for her first, since she's the most vulnerable character. And heavy attacks with Elios is the best thing to do. See? Already. And she's gonna bleed out by the time they get here. Huge amount of damage, and just keep isolating him. That's fine. And now, by me downing these guys and killing them outright, I'm gonna get so much stronger now. I got way stronger. Now, as for my build, I'll show you the build at the end of the game, what my builds are. These guys are not going to probably come and save them now. They're going to probably go straight for the objective. Again, terrible idea as a team player, because if they go for the objective, it takes forever for just 2 people to rip through that objective, let alone succeed in pulling it off when the evil player is there. So it's really risky to do this. And now I'm going to possess this guy and make it even harder for them now. Got firearm. That's fine. Wish I had the shotgun one instead, but again, isolatable now. The saw blade is a rifle that I really don't understand entirely in its functionality. That's fine. That's okay. They're both very weak now. See, he's gonna keep trying to get to the objective. It's not gonna work out well. So use your power possession early on in the game as a deterrent and try to single people out if you can. Obviously, if you're against a coordinated team, it's a bit of a different story. You're going to have to just try to harass them the best that you can. But this is a great way of doing this. Additionally, do not ever use power possession if you're going to sacrifice your character or your basic units. What I mean by sacrifice is that if you press triangle, rip off their head, this will do an enormous amount of damage to them because of a huge AoE attack. I'm also going to use the elite here. This is the perfect time to use an elite. Use them right next to the right next to traps. Yeah, they'll probably overpower me because they are too. Yeah, that's gonna die right here. They are two warrior classes. You know, makes them incredibly good at melee, but they will eventually lose this eventually. So I'm just gonna keep piling on the pressure. I should be able to get my boss, and once I get my boss character, that's when they're in a lot of trouble. But in the meantime, I'll just keep this pressure going here. Oh, he's activated his thing here. So I'm gonna sacrifice. Actually, no, I'm gonna call this in, and then I'm gonna start. Perfect time to use a power possession on elites if you can. Increases their damage significantly. The best thing about the elites is they can apply pressure from range, and when you power possess these guys, they get their lightning ability so much faster, like in a couple seconds. Typically, it takes like 30 seconds. However, unfortunately, I'm not getting a horde of minions, and that's where the elite kind of needs a little help. That's fine. I've now got my boss. Now I can end this game. And this is really what I've been drawing out for. The boss caller. Drain. I'm gonna heavily focus in on him. Nice. Minion got him under control. Oh, he's using that. He happened just to get it right at that right time. That's fine. I'm gonna have to output damage though, so I'm just gonna keep hitting him with heavy attacks. He's almost down. There's the last guy. There he is. They are gonna complete the objective, but it's fine. That's fine if they did. I'm already significantly stronger now. And they all happen to spawn right next to each other now.
With their lives.
And the final objective is super far away from them. I've gotten enormously strong. One of them already rage quit. And they're gotta be low on resources from all that battling me. So, you know, again, the beginning of the game is gonna get much tougher. Like, winning the game early on is very unlikely. but your chances of winning the end game if you maintain the harassment increases significantly because your character, the demon, gets way stronger than he was before post-patch. So you get weaker in the beginning, but you get stronger at the end of the game. And you just need to maintain pressure. They had a really good start. They got like all 3 objectives right away at the beginning of the game, but one of their guys got isolatable, and once he was isolated, I just instantly honed in on them. Also, he wasn't a very good player by the looks of it. You know, especially for a healing character, you really need to know what you're doing. But now I've got them here. It looks like they're running on foot. And I've already almost got my boss character in here. I'm gonna power possess this one. He's isolated right now, so this is exactly what I want. Now his teammates are gonna show up in here real soon here. And that's fine. Oh, he's got a legendary sword, I think. And look at that glitch. He's gonna run out of stamina at this rate. The nice thing is that every time I hit him with a power possessed basic, he is getting bleed. So he's taking residual damage just by me tapping him. Now they're in a high amount of fear. This makes him a prime target for me to possess. And shotgun possessions are the best because you get an enormous amount of infernal energy back. He's going down now. And it's just this guy that's left. That's fine. I've still got 2 shells left. Now he's vulnerable. They're gonna try to res him. That's fine. Because guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna stop that right now. I'm also gonna call in the boss. It's over. The game is over now. His new teammate is gonna take a shit ton of damage now. Or his recovered teammate. He's taking residual damage right now from my special build doing bleed damage on top of it. I'm gonna focus on these guys. These guys probably have no healing items left now. They're gonna go straight for the objective, but they're gonna ditch their teammate, which makes it easier for me to now hyper focus on these guys. So this is how you like scatter the team really efficiently. Now they're panicked, and probably the reason why they're panicked, they have no more healing items left. And because I've downed that guy before, he bled out super fast. By the looks of it, they're just going straight for the objective. Now, my cooldown time for my boss character is going to be much longer because I just recently used him. But as long as I slow them down, it should be fine. And not only that, they're already dying. Like, by the time I got there, they're already dying. And it looks like this guy gave up. So that's kind of what it looks like a little bit. I'll show you what the builds look like at the end of the game, but that's how you pressure these guys. If an opportunity to single someone out, immediately do it. Just immediately hyper focus on them. But if they're all together, just trap around them, build as much levels as you can, power possess early on. But only power possess when someone's alone. If they're in a group, do not power possess because they'll just kill your demon immediately. So try to be selective of your possessioning. So this is my current build. I've played with a bunch of other builds. I don't think that any of these builds are better than others. These are the ones I'm just currently playing with now. I always just refresh my builds and do a different build. So always experiment with your builds. But my current build basically is that I am focused primarily on making my minions really strong. I'm not focusing too much on the boss. And the reason why is because the boss already is great, but he's not the strongest boss in the game. Many of the other bosses are a little bit better in certain areas, but Eligos is unique amongst the bosses is because when you move around, he takes no damage because he's not invisible. And so the real design of him is to land your hits and then hit and run. So that way it makes it difficult for them to hit you and do damage to you. So you're not really, really trying to do a large amount of damage in a short amount of time. You're really just trying to slow them down. With power possession, in particular, you do bleed damage. So you're going to be naturally possessing your own minions more frequently. So in my mind, it may as well buff up your basics and your elites. The elites are really good. Granted, I didn't get a chance to use many elites in the previous one, especially when you power possess them. You can use the thunder ability repeatedly. Within every 6 seconds, you'll get it back. So the best thing to do is power possess one of them, hide them in a corner, and just keep dropping lightning while they're dealing with the horde. Now, the problem with the elite unit is that the elite unit's not so great when he's ganged up on, much like any of the other classes. So, you know, you kind of want to, you know, selectively pick when to use your elite. But that's kind of my builds a little bit. I always feel like Invigorate Possession is probably the best ability. No matter what, always go for this, because getting Infernal Energy back for every hit, with how frequently you can strike the enemy, is just really nice with the Puppeteer. So that's kind of my recommendation for you guys. Right off the bat, just kind of focus in on the long-term game. Try to build your level as much as possible. With Puppeteer, use early possession, power possession early on. If you guys don't know what that is, if you're playing on console, it's pressing circle. That's the special ability that all the other characters got, you know, whether it be Fluet or whatever. Just power possess early on in the game, because it doesn't use any of your infernal energy. Only use possession with infernal energy early on in the game if you're confident that you can take someone down, because they've isolated themselves. So that's kind of a bit of my recommendation. Hopefully this video is a little bit of a fun video to watch, be a little educational, and you know, you guys kind of get my mindset while I'm playing the game.